Hey beginners, I just wanted to run through this sun salutation for you real quick so that you could get the rhythm of the breath and the movement together, and hopefully you can play around with it. So you'll start with your feet hips width apart, and you can bring your hands to your heart. Maybe just take a moment to connect with your breath. Then remember that these movements are kind of synced with the breath. They won't be when you're newer, but eventually you're going to try to sync the movements together with the breath, but I'll sync them with the breath today. So as you inhale, you'll reach arms up. Maybe you take your gaze up, and then exhaling, folding forward. Maybe touching the floor with your fingertips, a little bit of a bend in your knees if that feels good. And then inhale, press your hands into your shins, lift your chest until your back is straight. Plant your hands, step back into plank or top of a push-up. If you want to make this easier, you can put your knees on the floor. Make sure your knees are way back behind your hips and there's enough room between your hands for your chest. So you're going to keep your elbows right along the sides of your body as you carefully lower yourself down until you're flat. Point your toes so your feet are hips width. Squeeze your shoulders towards your back and lift up for cobra. Lower your chest back down. Tuck your toes under. And lift your knees up for downward facing dog. So you're broad across your shoulders. Make sure that your shoulders aren't squeezing up or under your neck. So your shoulders are moving away from each other. And I say about hips width with the feet, but it is probably a little easier if you take a little bit of a wider stance, so you can do that if you want. And then we'll just step or walk to the front of your mat. So eventually we're trying to step one foot into the other, but if that doesn't work, you start out by just kind of taking as many steps as you need to get there. Feet hips width, inhale, lengthen halfway, making your back straight, and exhale, fold forward. Rise all the way up, reach your arms up, and bring your hands to your heart. And I'm going to do this one more time, but just kind of move through it so you can get the rhythm of it without like all the explaining. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway up. Step back to plank or plank on your knees. And you're trying to lower down as you exhale. And then inhaling to cobra. Press back to downward facing dog as you exhale. And then step or walk forward. Inhale, lift halfway, making your back straight. Exhale, fold forward. Rise all the way up, reach your arms up. And bring your hands to your heart. And then we talked about, as an alternative to that, to make it easier to step forward and back and to make it easier to do down dog, to bring blocks to the sides of your mat to rest your hands on. So we won't be lowering down to the floor and coming into the cobra. We'll just be going straight from plank to down dog. So you'll have your blocks about as wide as your mat. Start with your hands at your heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. And now just go ahead and place your hands on the blocks. Lengthen halfway, making your back straight. And then just stepping right back into plank from there. So your butt is just about slightly lower than your chest. Your feet are hips width apart, your legs are parallel to each other. And then you can press straight back to downward facing dog. So again, feet at least hips width, maybe wider. And shoulders moving away from each other. You're kind of pushing your hands into these blocks and sending weight back into the feet. So the heels are reaching for the floor, although they won't get there. But you're really trying to push that weight back into the legs so that we don't feel so much weight in the arms and shoulders and wrists. And then when you're ready to come forward, you'll step or walk forward, which is a lot easier to do with a little bit of extra height with the blocks. Press your hands in your shins, lift halfway. Fold forward. Rise all the way up, reach your arms up. And bring towards your heart.